Once again, welcome into the San Francisco 49ers Report. Chase Sr. here with you. Before we dive in and talk about the final three picks for the Niners in the 2025 NFL Draft, a reminder to subscribe to the channel. We talk all things Niners right here on the Niners Report, so don't miss our coverage. We just surpassed 160,000 subscribers, so join the movement. Lock us in for Niners shows every single day year-round. And in round 7, San Francisco had 3 selections, and their pick at 227 overall surprised me a little bit. I wasn't surprised that the Niners drafted a quarterback. I was just a little bit surprised it was this quarterback, Kurtis Rourke out of Indiana. Quinn Ewers out of Texas was still on the board. He played at Texas. That is where Kyle Shanahan was a wide receiver. Steve Sarkisian has a lot of the similar offensive concepts as Kyle Shanahan. Quinn Ewers was so highly touted coming out of high school in Texas, where he was one of the top recruits and at one point the #1 overall recruit in the country when he went to Ohio State. And then he transferred to Texas. And while his results with the Longhorns were up and down, he put up a lot of production. He played in a lot of big games against stiff competition. I thought he ran that offense pretty well. And Quinn Ewers got lackadaisical with his footwork. But if you clean that up, there's something to work with there with the size and the arm strength that Quinn Ewers has. He's one of those throwers where he's kind of a flick of the wrist guy, where you see some of the velocity of the football coming off his hand. And if he develops some lower body mechanics and works on that, I do think that Quinn Ewers can have a bright future as a backup and maybe a starter at some point. I personally thought he should have gone back to school, but he decided to go to the NFL Draft, and he got selected right after Rourke by the Miami Dolphins. And so if I was running the show, I would have gone Quinn Ewers over Kurtis Rourke. This is a pick that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. The Niners are set at quarterback, right? You have Brock Purdy, you have Mac Jones, and now Rourke will battle it out with Tanner Mordecai to be QB3. But Rourke is a player who is 24 and a half years old already, 6'4", 220. With Indiana last year, he battled through injuries. He's tough as nails. He has a big body. He has a strong arm. He did complete 69% of his passes for more than 3,000 yards, 29 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But the age and the injury history, that's what's concerning to me. And as far as him being a scheme fit, he's not too mobile behind what is an offensive line that I think is very concerning. And I'm just not sure if he's a good scheme fit, and I just would have gone offensive line over Kurtis Rourke. Now, good size, good frame, does have the football IQ. So maybe that's something that Kyle Shanahan really likes. He can read and beat defenses with being a cerebral guy and having it in between the ears. He lacks a little bit of velocity. He does have a little bit of a slow release, but he does have a long injury history. He played on a partially torn right ACL last year, put a brace on it, but he also tore that same ACL back in 2022. This is a guy who was in college for 6 years. He started off at Ohio, and he was there for 5 years, and then he transferred to Indiana for his final season. And as far as the injury history here with Rourke, left shoulder injury in 2020, torn ACL on his right knee in 2022, wore a brace on his right knee in 2023, right thumb injury in October of 2024, had to get surgery on that, sidelined him for 1 game, and then again tore his ACL on his right knee in August of 2024. Then he played through the injury. So a huge credit to him for playing through that injury for his final college season, but he did miss most of the draft process after undergoing surgery in January of 2025. Wasn't asked to work through a ton of progressions while at Indiana. He has pretty average foot quickness, Sometimes he'll play poised, but then his eyes will come down and he'll look at the rush to see if that is incoming. But big-bodied passer, ball comes off his hand pretty solid. He will be aggressive in trying to fit balls into tight windows. He throws the deep ball with some timing and touch. He's willing to stand in the pocket and deliver the ball before taking a shot. 3-time team captain at Ohio. And so, high character guy. But I personally would have gone with Quinn Ewers. Younger player. I think he has more upside and less of an injury history, although Quinn Ewers himself has had to deal with some nagging injuries from time to time the last couple of years. Really what it comes down to is me just prioritizing offensive line over quarterback, and then wanting to take the better quarterback in my eyes in Quinn Ewers over Kurtis Rourke. So your one-word reaction to this pick, I was surprised by the player. I wasn't surprised that the Niners went quarterback. You know, in the pre-draft, I was talking about Will Howard or Kyle McCord as quarterbacks who I would have liked to have seen picked by San Francisco. McCord got drafted by Philly. Will Howard got drafted by Pittsburgh. Niners go Kurtis Rourke. Sound off with what you think down in the comment section right now. Couple more picks to get to, but we do want to get to our sponsor, Chubbies. Thank you to Chubbies for powering our NFL draft coverage today and throughout the weekend. My fellas out there, April is here, but this ain't the time for fooling. It's the time to let those thighs breathe. Whether you're playing a round of golf with the fellas, hitting up a beer garden, or visiting an actual garden, going to a lake or ocean, spending some time in the beautiful outdoors, Chubbies has you covered for all of the good vibes that warm weather brings. They also, in addition to their great shorts, have polos that demand attention. Those killer shorts that will show off the fact that you've been hitting leg day. If you want to hit up the pool or the beach, they have a great swim collection, and they will be your new favorite swim trunks for those sunny days. For everything non-water related, their original shorts provide that classic look with a fresh vibe and a modern fit for everywhere shorts. At the end of the day, look, I'm trying to help you out, and Chubbies is trying to help you out as well. Your wardrobe deserves a springtime upgrade. So to sweeten the deal for a limited time, Chubbies is giving our listeners 20% off your order with our exclusive code CHAT. All you have to do, go to chubbyshorts.com/chat, use that code CHAT, and you get 20% off to save on their shorts, swim trunks, polos, button-up polos, shirts, and more. Skies out, thighs out. Get swagged up. Look good, feel good with Chubbies today. As for the other Niners selection in the 7th round at 249, we celebrated this one when we were live here on the show. The Niners finally drafted an offensive lineman in Connor Colby out of Iowa. I went on a rant after the Niners drafted Kurtis Rourke, and I'm like, what is San Francisco doing? They hadn't taken an offensive lineman in the entire draft until 249 overall. And so we're looking at a starting offensive line going into next year that is going to be Trent Williams at left tackle, older, injury prone, play declining a little bit. Ben Barch or Spencer Burford at left guard. Jake Brendel or Matt Hennessy at center. Dominic Pooney, a stud, at right guard. And Colton McKivitz, who's a very average tackle, at right tackle. He improved last year, but he's still average. The issue is you are not elite by any means at center. I like Ben Barch and Spencer Burford, but you could have gotten a major upgrade in this draft at left guard. And if Trent Williams or Colton McKivitz get hurt, you still don't have a legitimate backup tackle at any of those positions, and you don't have a legitimate swing tackle. Austin Pleasance, Sebastian Gutierrez, and Isaac Alarcon are your top backup tackles. That is an issue, and it makes no sense when you're about to pay Brock Purdy $50+ million per year. He's going to be running for his life potentially. If some injuries happen up front, the Niners are in a bad spot. With Connor Colby, there are some things to like. George Kittle, of course, put his stamp of approval on this pick because George Kittle went to Iowa. Colby has good size, 6'5", 3/4, 309 pounds. He earned a 9.5 relative athletic score on a scale of 0 to 10. He's a very experienced player. 13 games played last year. 77.1 overall Pro Football Focus grade. Gave up 2 sacks. He is a good run blocker who fares well in outside zone and on the move. That is the Kyle Shanahan offense. He has the mean streak and finishes extremely well. He has definitely had some issues with pass blocking. He can lunge and get himself into trouble. But what you will like about Connor Colby, good run blocker, good scheme fit, can get out in space, highly experienced, 50 games started in his college career, and like any Iowa offensive lineman, he likes to finish, put you into the ground, and he does have a mean streak about him. And as you can see, a beautiful mullet. The athletic Stain Brugler on Colby gets himself in trouble with timing, pad level issues, but as one would expect from an Iowa offensive lineman, experienced, quick into his blocks, loves to finish. He is a potential backup in a zone blocking scheme. So that is the lone offensive lineman that the Niners added in the draft. I imagine they'll try to bring in some offensive linemen as UDFAs, and we'll give you a UDFA video tomorrow. And then lastly, the Niners drafted Junior Bergen, a small school wide receiver. The second wide receiver who they took in this class. I had him as a UDFA and honestly pretty deep on the UDFA list. He's a smaller player, 5'9", 184 pounds, and not that quick. 4.53, 40-yard dash. His production last year, not crazy. He grew up in Billings, Montana, and so he went to Montana, 48 catches, 542 yards, and 3 touchdowns. He did in 2021, of note, have 118 carries for 493 yards. The Niners might like that background as a guy who can run the ball, and those are running back carries right there. But his carries did go down his final 3 seasons. As for a little scouting report on him, let's see if we can find one here. Smaller guy, 36th pick, obviously, in the 7th round. He was one of the all-time great players with that Montana program. Associated Press All-American. He does have kick returning, punt returning, wide receiver experience. And he was named to the East-West Shrine Bowl 1,000 preseason watch list. Tied for the most punt return touchdowns in NCAA FCS history with 8. So he's a good punt returner. And now holds the Montana school record for average yards per punt at 16.71. Pretty impressive. So special teams value here with this player and Junior Bergen. So the Niners picks in totality, and by the time that you're watching this, following the NFL draft, I am going to be putting out a draft grades video. We'll go in depth on all of these players. This is the Niners 2025 draft class. Mykel Williams, Alfred Collins, Nick Martin, Upton Stout, CJ West. First 5 picks, all defense. All of those players have a history of being good against the run. Jordan Watkins, 4'3" wide receiver from Ole Miss, explosive player. Jordan James, a running back out of Oregon, outside zone fit. Marquis Seigel can play multiple positions in the secondary. Safety out of Kansas State. Kurtis Rourke, the quarterback out of Indiana. Connor Colby, offensive lineman, Iowa. And Junior Bergen, wide receiver, Montana. That is the Niners draft class. Who is your favorite pick so far for San Francisco here? Let me know down in the comments section. Thanks for supporting our draft coverage. Plenty of great content to come. UDFA video tomorrow. Don't forget to hit that sub button right here on the Niners Report.